My favourite two toy grade quads from last year were the Eachine E58 and the Visuo 809. The most common question posted to my channel on a daily basis is, which should I buy? This video should hopefully help. I'm Ash from DroningON. If this video helps you, then click that subscribe button now. Links to these two brilliant little brushed quadcopters are in the video description, and if you follow those links, you support our channel. Enjoy the review and comment below with your thoughts.
Let's start with build quality, and by that I mean how well is it constructed and also how resistant is it to being crashed. Both of these are budget drones, and so you can't expect absolute robustness, but then they will equally both take quite an impact fairly well. The Visuo, however, I feel is more solid, and the folding arms have a more robust hinge system. The drone overall also feels that it's constructed of higher quality materials, less flexible plastics as well. Therefore, I feel it's got less potential for permanent damage, and on that basis, it wins this first category. Now, just to be very clear, both of these quads fly very well, and hence why I gave both really good reviews, but they are slightly different in their flying characteristics, and I'll explain why. The Visuo is larger and heavier for a start, and that means that the flight style is much more stable and consistent. It's also less affected by wind, and so it will fly in almost all conditions. The Eachine, on the other hand, is very lightweight and much smaller. Consequently, it can struggle in even a light breeze. However, it does still fly very well, but the Visuo has the edge in terms of being more fun to fly, faster and more flexible. Consequently, it also wins this category. Both of these transmitters use basic 2.4 gig Wi-Fi to communicate with the drone, and so both are equal in terms of range. The Eachine transmitter is modelled on the DJI Mavic transmitter, but due to that some compromises seem to have been made, and it does feel a bit flimsy and cheap. The phone holder especially doesn't work particularly well either, and I found that with my phone installed into it, the side buttons on the phone were pressed, which caused lots of issues. But the gimbals are nice, and the transmitter works well in controlling the drone. Its controls are proportionate, and it does feel good when flying. The Visuo transmitter, on the other hand, isn't styled at all on the Mavic transmitter, and instead looks more like an Xbox controller. It fits well in the hands, and most importantly, feels well made. It is bigger than the Eachine transmitter, but not by much. Also, the buttons are far more intuitive on this transmitter. The phone holder system also is far better and more conventional. With the phone installed into it, none of the side buttons are pressed, and so it's much more usable. Personally, I preferred the Visuo transmitter because it just felt more familiar, the phone holder was far better and usable, plus the buttons are all nicely and clearly labelled, and for that reason, yet again, the Visuo wins another category. Both drones are equipped with a very basic budget camera, and so you really can't expect video quality such as that you would see from the real Mavic. These drones cost 1/10 of the price, so that is obviously quite clear. But the video quality from these drones isn't that bad. In addition, the cameras on the drones can also be tilted manually, although by hand before the flight, not electronically. They also both feature SD card slots, which means that footage is stored straight to disk rather than streamed via Wi-Fi and captured on the smart device, which can lead to low bitrate footage, although in both cases 720p is as good as it gets. Now, when we tested the Visuo, the video actually didn't record, and we found out later that the button on the transmitter doesn't work. Instead, you have to use the app record button instead. But we found some sample footage from another YouTuber, and he kindly gave us permission to use it. The video quality really isn't too bad. It's not great and the frame rate isn't that high, but for 720p, you really can't complain. But when we look at the Eachine video quality, it is just far better. The colours are more vibrant, the contrast is great, and the sharpness is better too. The bitrate also appears to be higher, evidenced by the grass here, where there is minimal artifacting. The Eachine does have a far higher field of view, and hence why the image looks curved, but that can easily be corrected in post, or alternatively just replace the lens on the camera. But during the review, I was genuinely shocked at how good the camera on the E58 was, especially once I ascended up to an altitude to get some aerial shots. Now, bear in mind that this drone has no mechanical gimbal or EIS, and yet there's no sign of jello and a pretty stable picture too. For all of these reasons, and very well deserved too, the Eachine wins its first category. Considering the small size of these drones, their batteries both give impressive flight times. The Eachine is a smaller drone than the Visuo, and of course it's lighter too. It's supplied with a tiny 1S 500mAh battery, and yet this still provides around 7 minutes of flight time. The Visuo also uses a 1S battery, but it's a 900mAh. However, remember that this is also a bigger, heavier drone, and yet this tiny battery still gives you a generous 10 minutes of flight time. On another minor point, the battery slot design is much better on the Visuo than on the Eachine. 3 minutes is a long time, or at least we keep telling ourselves that, but that additional flying time does make a big difference, and therefore the Visuo wins this category. I didn't include an app comparison for these drones because it's basically the same app, and I've never liked that generic UFO named app that these budget drones use. On that basis, these two are a tie for the app functionality and features. Ultimately, these are both great drones, and personally, I'd recommend owning them both for their own individual attributes. The Eachine E58 especially is a beautiful mini Mavic replica, and you'll love it as soon as you see it in person. If you already own a full-size DJI Mavic, then this will definitely make you smile when you unbox it. But there is a clear overall winner here on every aspect besides video quality, but even in that category, the video is still very good. And of course, the winner is the Visuo XS809. We review many budget brush quads for LOS flight, and very few stick in our memory as being this good, but the Visuo will bring a smile to the face of most pilots. It does cost a little bit more than the Eachine, but it's worth every penny. It's a great quadcopter to fly, the altitude hold works really well, it's fast and it's got different sensitivity settings, the transmitter feels great in the hands, the drone folds and so it's nice and portable, the tiny battery still gives a generous 10 minutes of flight, and finally, if you do happen to crash it, it's built solidly and so it will probably survive. Remember, none of these are a Mavic, but they're both great fun.
So there you go, that's the two quads compared. Which will you buy? Comment below and let us know. In the meantime, links to both products are in the video description, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more videos just like this. Thanks very much for watching.